PlayStation believes in great games.
Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to crossbuttonvr, a beginner's journey into PSVR2, a show for those who want to share in our newcomers' enthusiasm for the world of VR. I'm your host, Laurie. But before we get started with the show, as always, I just want to remind everyone that we are part of the Cross Players. So if you enjoy what you hear, please do check out our other podcasts, and you can support us too. Most obviously, give us a sub on the service you're using. Leave us a review too. They're always lovely. Follow us on Twitter at crossbuttonvr and at the Crossplayers. Check out thecrossplayers.com for links to all of our content and our Discord, where we have a PSVR2 dedicated group to chat on as well. If you really want to show the love, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/thecrossplayers and contribute for £2 a month to help us produce the show and gain entry into our lovely WhatsApp group. Now, this week I am joined by my fellow VR newcomers, Ben and Alex. Hi there, chaps.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Now, we must apologise for the lack of an episode last week. Alex, what were we up to last week? Can't remember.
Well, I was behaving very nicely in Barcelona, but I don't know about you two.
Was
No
I?
wonder you can't remember.
Yes, that's right. We were away on a stag do for the great Dan Ward, who is getting married soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, good fun had by all, and yeah, we're back on the podcasting. I think everyone's back to
One
normal
piece.
now. I feel okay.
Yeah.
Settled back down. We had a lovely time.
Tiredness kills.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. But more importantly, back to podcasting. So, what have we been playing? I will start and say I've actually not been able to play any PSVR2 since the last one we recorded, as I've been away on family holiday and then our weekend away, and then all of this week we've had our building work has reached a crescendo, and there's no way I've been able to get anywhere near my TV. So, yeah, I have not played anything. The only thing I've been playing for the last couple of weeks is Metroid Prime on the Switch, and finally
I'm not talking about that. Come on.
no, well, I'll talk about it in the context of I was playing it thinking, God, I would so much prefer to play this in VR. This would be a really cool game in VR. So I'm finding it, and it's kind of weird how because I've been playing just exclusively VR for like a month or two before going away, and just then playing it on the Switch, it felt like it definitely felt like a step back, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So I'll see if maybe it's just Metroid. I don't know. It's not really grabbing me much, and maybe it's just because that's the game. Hopefully it's not just because it's not in VR, and that's all non-VR games are now just dead to me. We shall see next week when Horizon Burning Shores comes out and I play that. So yeah, that's me. What about you guys?
Well, interesting that so Metroid Prime Remastered was the game that first took me away from PSVR2. So it's odd that we're complete opposites in that front. But I've been back on the VR this week.
Yes.
And I've taken your advice. I've heeded your glowing review of Synth Riders.
Yay.
Oh yes.
And I've been playing and loving the hell out of that. It's been brilliant. I think within the first day I bought the Gorillas DLC pack as well. My eldest son absolutely loves it. Like, he's a big fan of like rhythm games in general. Like there's this thing called Friday Night Funkin', which I don't know if you guys. It's like one of those it's one of those kid things which is shite, but kids like it. So anything rhythm based, he's proper into. Like Just Dance, loves that.
But he's annoyingly good at it as well, isn't he?
He's really frustratingly good at it.
So Ben choosing him to get to the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, I was going to say all these scores that keep I keep finding myself in second place to Benji fucking Kong. It's your son, so I can't feel any grudge there.
Well, funny you say that, Laurie.
Yeah.
So what happened was we played it like last night. He went to bed, and I was a bit like, I've got to beat his score on that one song. So I did, which was good. And then I thought, I'll see like you guys where you are on the leaderboard, so I can have a go at that. Laurie, I mean, I do like to brag. So I will. Your scores, I mean, I was beating them first time. I didn't even try it.
Well, sorry, there's quite a lot of your GT7 scores that I beat first time as well. It's just, now I know that you've put a marker down. Because a lot of the tracks have just been. There's a lot of tracks on there, so there's a lot that I just played and just wasn't. Or might have been my wife doing it, or might have been me just doing it on easy, not really getting the hang of it. And
I love how the wife's getting blamed.
Yeah.
Well, but now I know. Now I know a mark has been laid down. Then let battle commence.
Let's do it, because as soon as I couldn't see you, Alex, and we think that might be because you're playing the American version.
Yeah, I've got the American version of the game, so I don't know if it's not showing up on the leaderboard. Yeah.
I was thinking like, Laurie's clearly no competition.
I'm sure I'm winning. Pretty certain I'm winning. So.
I'm sure.
No, I'm not having this. I play tracks now and I get like perfect scores on them, so I'm going to need to go back to some of the ones that I've.
Do you get video evidence of perfect scores? I do.
All right.
I've got screenshots. Every time I beat Laurie last night, I took a screenshot of the leaderboard. Just save that.
It's got the receipts. Well, anyone listening would like to also join into this and just demolish Ben for me. That would, sorry. That would be much appreciated.
But really, really good game. Thoroughly enjoying it. Completely agree with your review of it as well.
Does Gorillas have a experience thing? Is that what they call it? No, because there isn't. I haven't got one in the version I've got. You've got to get something with it. You could get one of the experiences. Get them use one. I thoroughly recommend it. But anyone that you like.
Yeah, I'll give that a go. But quite impressed with the music in general in that. So yeah.
It's a nice arrangement of tracks.
Yeah. Very I like the sort of 80s synth wavy stuff. That's pretty cool.
Have you discovered? Because it took me I'm going to admit to this, embarrassingly long time to realise you can change the stage that you're playing as well. It took me a while to work that out, which we didn't mention in the review, that there is actually you can scroll through, and obviously there's more you can pay to download, which is slightly annoying.
Yeah.
But there's I think about half a dozen tracks that are included, or stages that are included, and it doesn't make any difference. It's just aesthetic, but it still looks cool.
Different game modes as well, like it kind of moves in the background so that you're rotating with the stage as well when the notes move, and you can also have that like rainbow mode or something, and then they all change colour. And then there's one, I can't remember the name of the last one, but basically they disappear and you need to remember where they are. That's not very easy.
Yeah, that sounds impossible. No platinum though for that again. Is that right?
I don't think so, because I think there's only 10 trophies and I've got 8 of them. I don't think there's a platinum.
Shocking. But yeah, other than that, fantastic game.
Alex, so did you say you've been playing anything?
I have played a little bit more Synth Riders just because it's fun. The other thing I've been playing, which is also very much fun, but also it'll knock the absolute stuffing out of you. This is like 5 grumpy old men for terms of movement and everything, is Creed, Creed Rise to Glory Champions Edition.
I mean, it's not the sort of game you can just play sat on the sofa with it, sat on your ass. It's just like, come on then.
No, but to that extent, it is the other level. This is not just, a wee bit of like wee boxing back in the day. This is, you feel like you've been through 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Like,
I want to see you running up the steps of Philadelphia, Alex. Come on, I want a training montage of you playing this game.
But it is. I did record myself playing it the first time I played it, and then it didn't upload. I don't know what happened. But it's really, really good. And it is a bit like that whole training montage. The way it's set up, it's like you go through that story. You're in the training gym. You're training. The way you do all the mini games in the training sets you up, and basically how well prepared you are when you sit at the match. So it kind of, the better you do in the mini games, the more prepared you are for the match, which makes sense. Better you train, the better shape you're in to start the match, and then you're in following the story of Creed. Or I've not seen the film, so I don't know who all the characters are and stuff, but Rocky's in there like training you and stuff, so it's like all the fun, different mini games in terms of like dodging the bag or just kind of hitting different parts in a dummy, like training matches in the ring, loads of different bits and pieces, and it's all about how fast you can punch or how fast you can dodge, the kind of things you would expect. But it is quite good fun, but it doesn't overstay its welcome either in terms of the training. So each of the mini games, they can have probably maybe 10-15 seconds in each bit, and they switch through it, so you're not just doing the same thing over and over. And then the matches are what you would expect in terms of you're in there, you're dodging, you're weaving, trying to land the punches. It's very well. Tracking works really well. Visuals are really good. It's a proper workout, but it's really, really well done. Really well done.
Oh,
what's the haptic feedback like when you're hitting
not
the bag? Do you feel anything?
You can feel it in your hands, but there's nothing in the headset. They're not using the haptic feedback in the headset, which just feels like a proper miss.
Because when you get walloped in the head, you
might feel it.
Feel it, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they'll patch that in or something. But it's definitely not there at the moment. There was also a bit of a kind of miss in terms of you can upgrade from the VR1 edition to the VR2 edition for I think it's a $20 upgrade, because there is a lot more DLC and stuff in there. It's not just a port of the game. There is more stuff in this edition of the game to like tie in with the new film and stuff. So there's like fitness modes and things like that in there too. But they didn't make it live at the point at which the game came out. I think it took maybe the best part of a day before you could do it, and everyone was getting a bit like, where is it? They couldn't find how to upgrade it, so that was a wee bit. But it's there now, so it's $20 upgrade or £20 upgrade. I'm sure it is if you have the PSVR1 game. But I'd say it's worth it. You've also got like online multiplayer, so you can just have a wee match fighting against your friends if you wanted to, which I'd imagine could be quite good fun.
So it sounds like Alex just gets the stamp of approval from you then?
Yeah, absolutely. Even just the kind of general feel for it online and stuff, everyone seems to be enjoying it. I think it's reviewed pretty well, kind of around the 80-ish mark. And it feels a good solid 8 out of 10. It's not something you're going to play for hours and hours unless you've got incredible stamina.
We don't give stamina on crossbuttonvr.
No, that wasn't my score. That was the generics. The generic score out there. Yeah.
It does look very good.
That's good.
Good stuff. Well, a little impromptu review there. Well done.
Yeah, there we go.
Snuck that in there. Okay, so quick bit of news then in the world of PSVR2. Lots of news going on. Yesterday there was a big load of Firewall Ultra previews that were released. Lots of people around the world have been to play it with the various members of the team that are making this game, and it looks like it's going to be a cracking game to look forward to. They've not said a release window yet, but I don't think it's going to be too long, given that they're busting people out to play the game, and it's fully playable, and they're having a great time with it, and it's running flawlessly, from what I understand. So
there were some loose lips around that, and I think they've said basically about 3 months. So mid-July maybe. They said about 3 months from launch, I think they've intimated. So hopefully not too long.
Yeah, but that looks like a great one. I can't wait for the three of us to jump into a game with another random person.
If you want to be our fourth, then please apply now.
Yeah. Maybe next episode we can interview people and just they get 60 seconds to pitch why they should be on our team.
Yeah.
Well, I've played Firewall before, so yeah. Great, you're in.
Yeah.
But no, that looks
it's like Demio all over again.
Yeah. We did find someone that was going to offer to help with that. We need to go back to them.
Right, so this doesn't look like my sort of game, but I'm quite intrigued by some of the mechanics that you can make use of, like the sort of flash grenade kind of thing.
Yeah, that was good.
Blind your opponents almost. But if you close your eyes, obviously you
don't get blinded. That seems a bit of a hack, doesn't it? It
does, but then you're blind, so you don't know who's shooting you or where you are.
And also, if you close one eye, it's like you zoom in down the scope, which is quite sort of. It's like
that's
zooming.
Cool.
Yeah.
But then there was also someone on Twitter was talking about you've got like a laser sight on the end of your gun, so people can kind of see you coming, but you can cover that with one hand, so they can't see you, and then you can almost like creep up on them around the corner and just go bang. Which
sounds funny.
Bang!
Cool.
Bang! Yeah, it's
what my gun sounds like.
I think you can. There will be bots and stuff, and there is some story to it. There is, like they say, it's a continuation of the story from the first one, but it's obviously not a campaign story-driven thing, which is a shame because it would be really cool to play a game with this sort of level of production value, which did have it's like a sort of COD with in VR basically. But it's not. It is a multiplayer experience, but one that has a really vibrant community even on PSVR1 still. And this isn't just a remaster. This is a new entry. It's kind of like a Splatoon to Splatoon 2 kind of thing. It's not a huge departure. Right. It's got some of the same maps that are being reused, but it's been completely redone in Unreal Engine 5, which is probably doing it a disservice, and it's probably a bit more of a step up from Splatoon to Splatoon 2. But yeah, it's kind of.
I'd hope so.
Is it a full sequel? Is it a sort of part sequel? It's other people can argue about that. But yeah, I'm sure we would be talking about Firewall Ultra lots in the coming months.
I think also they have said at launch there will, as well as PvP, there's going to be PvE, so there's still multiplayer. There will be a kind of PvE experience and almost campaign in it as well.
So we can play that and just put the ease down to easy mode, and
yes,
we'll have a way to get through it and not feel like complete and utter trash. Because I'm sure if we played against actual humans, we'd just be dead in seconds, which is usually my experience of playing COD online.
Absolutely.
Good. All right. We'll look forward to more chat about that in the coming months, it sounds like. So the other game that got a release date, an actual release date this time, Walkabout Mini Golf VR, which is May the 11th, which I believe is out everywhere else already on PC VR. It's just, Alex, you've got your eye on this one, haven't you?
Yeah, it's one of those games that everyone raves about in terms of a VR experience. It's just have a nice little night out with your friends, play mini golf. But it's all about the course design. So I think there's been a lot of like DLC courses and stuff for the game so far, but the version that's coming out on PSVR2 includes all of the DLC, and I think there's maybe been 10 to date. So it's like the complete version that's coming to PSVR2, and basically anyone that plays PCVR says this game is just excellent, and it's been one on my radar from the beginning. So I'm really looking forward to finally playing it in a few weeks.
So we just need this and Beat Saber, and then we can
Beat Saber
with all the other Quest owners who will just like scoff at us.
It was was it Phil in Discord who said that it's £11.39 on Steam?
Yeah,
and that's including all 10 DLC.
No, I think that doesn't include the DLC. So I think because this includes the DLC, we wonder if it will cost a wee bit more because it does include all the DLC on VR2. So I think the base game is £11.39 on Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, so I suspect if it was about £15-20, then maybe that'd be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for that. I'd love a bit of a golf game. And,
yeah,
good fun.
My son as well. He loves a bit of mini golf in real life, IRL. So I'm sure he'd love this one.
The only thing is, you'd kind of have to play it online against people, wouldn't you? Because it like sometimes like I forget the name of it. Not everybody's golf, but there was a golf game that
I know the one you golf with your friends.
With your friends, yeah, and you can just do just pass the controller sort of thing. And I had probably 8 people in here playing it, kids, grandparents, whatever, and it was brilliant. But obviously you can't do that with the headset quite as easily. Like, let me just adjust it. Does that look all right? Oh, yeah. Put this strap. It's not quite the same, is it? So I guess it's almost has to be an online experience, but that's not a bad thing.
We'll just get a standing golf date in the diary.
That would
golf
be good.
Night. Get our pantaloons out.
Yep. Do I'll see you on the back 9.
Back 9, yeah.
There we go. Nailed it.
So pleased with himself. I got a golfing reference in. Good. All right, right. So
let's in the clubhouse.
Let's move on to. I don't want this to be our main topic. It might end up being our main topic, but there's. Let's talk about this thing that we're seeing. There's been lots of chat about in the social media on gaming sites. The general kind of vibe out there seems to be reached along many gaming journalists are sort of asking the question like: is PlayStation VR2 already dead? Is it doomed to fail? Is it a flop already? And this is based on some story. Was it wasn't Bloomberg, was it? It was the one. Someone look up the story. That it sold just under 300,000 units in its first month on the market, which is apparently was some dreadful amount. And there was analysts saying that they're going to have to cut the price and just panic. And it was kind of like a Nintendo and the 3DS sort of situation where they were going to have to do a big about turn to try and salvage something from the wreckage. And then there's lots of people out there saying, well, hold on a minute, 300,000, that seems all right. It's it's obviously very expensive, very niche product. There's only 30 odd million PS5s out there in the wild, and that's only in the space of a few weeks. So actually they may well be quite pleased with that, especially if it carries on selling at that kind of rate. So yeah, what are our thoughts on all this? Because it seems like we're having a great time with it. We've got loads to play, but what do you guys think?
I'd probably agree with you, Laurie. I think in terms of the numbers that they've probably shipped, I think they'd probably be relatively happy with. I think 300,000, or was it 270 or whatever it was, isn't bad, and that is in a few weeks. And I still very much firmly believe that we're not in a market that Sony thought we were going to be in when they were launching this product. They didn't want it to be as expensive. They didn't want the world to be in a cost of living crisis. They didn't want markets to be all over the place. They didn't want parts to be so expensive. Nobody wants that, but they kind of ended up in a situation where it got to the stage of, we can't hold this back anymore, and I do feel that we was held back, which doesn't really add up in terms of the games that we've kind of got to date, which is the other argument. But they had to launch it, and whether they decided to launch it almost like as a soft launch, which it kind of feels like this is a bit of a soft launch, and then we'll get to a stage maybe a price cut does come, and then it's more into hard launch as the kind of second wave or the proper first wave of first party games comes for the device. But I think for where they're at, I think they will be relatively happy with it, and the number of games that are out there, the people that are playing it are enjoying it. It seems to me that for a launch of this type of device and the number of titles we've managed to bring to it so quickly, I think people have been a bit harsh.
So we might have a slightly different take to what a lot of people say. If you are some VR expert, really experienced, a VR veteran, if you like, played everything, and you see the PSVR2's launch lineup, you'd be like, oh, it's rubbish. There's no exclusive, brand new things. It's all just Quest ports. I don't need this, and there's nothing new on the horizon that I want. Whereas for us, there's tons there. I don't believe anyone in our position could have played all of the games that were out at launch, and then there's been more added still. And there are things coming in the future which may be available on Quest at the moment. So it's really interesting how you get a different take on it depending on where you're standing at, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously this is a PSVR2 podcast, so we don't want to come across as like apologists or making excuses for it or trying to justify our own purchase of this £600. But it does. I think Alex's point about it being the soft launch, it really does feel like that when you look at where it was available to purchase from. Mm-hmm. Like certainly over here, and I think in America you could only purchase it directly from Sony. Marketing has been non-existent for it.
Yeah,
other than
really strange.
Other than mentioning a few bits and bobs, it is strange. But at the same time, I do think Alex is right about that we've promised our shareholders we're getting it out in this financial year. We can fulfill that. We can get it out, but know that come, let's say, Black Friday, we can have it and sort of general release. We can have a bunch of other games to launch with it, and let's say a price drop as well. And then let's put millions and millions and millions of dollars of marketing behind it. Then it becomes a whole different picture. I think at the moment we're looking at something that it's probably doing about as well as they thought it would. I can't imagine anyone at Sony's going, oh shit, I thought this was going to set the world on fire because we haven't spent any money on marketing.
We've done such a great job telling everyone about it. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. We're selling it directly. We're not putting it in any shops or anything. So I don't think it's not great PR amongst our little bubble of like the Twitter sphere. But beyond that, it hasn't been marketed to the masses yet, so of course it's not going to sell massive numbers, and it probably never will because it is a niche product. And even if they do a price drop, it's still going to be expensive. But I think it's far too early to go, it's a failure, because they haven't given it a good go, and I can only assume that they will.
And it is expensive, but like if you compare the Apple AirPod Max, their big can headphones, they're like £450. People will pay a lot of money for really good tech, and it feels like the PS5 that's the mass market entry level product, and that's what does that retail for now? What is that if to buy one of those new?
$480.
$480 now.
Is it?
So it's it's £50 more expensive than that. And this is aimed at the more hardcore tech enthusiasts. If you're into VR, you are a tech enthusiast. You are willing to pay money for good tech. And same way Apple charge a premium dollar for their products. That's what Sony are doing here and how they're positioning that. So I don't think the price is necessarily a barrier to it. I do think the software and the sort of future lineup of software, I feel like probably a lot of people are nervous about buying into it until they see the Astrobots, the Half-Life Alyxes, the pipeline of things. But I don't know that's necessarily a PSVR2 criticism, because you can say, people saying there's only one upcoming game, and that's Firewall Ultra, being published by Sony. Where are all their games? But you can see the same for PS5 itself. It's only got Spider-Man 2 really on the horizon. We know about Wolverine. There's some other things that we can kind of know that they're doing, but they haven't really talked about or confirmed properly. So again, on their main platform, they've been very, very quiet. So they're waiting. There's talk about there's going to be a huge showcase. It's going to usher in kind of the second phase of the PS5's generation. So these things will come. It's not like they're not going to make games for it. If you to believe they would spend all that money on R&D and they've got all these studios that make VR games, they will make more first-party games, even if they just port over some more PSVR1 stuff. So
didn't you speaking about the studios? So they acquired Firesprite in 2021. Was that, I think?
Yeah.
Let's say
they put out Horizon.
Yeah, and they at least, I mean, I'm sure there was Guerrilla had some influence as well. But you have to think, well, from 2021, they've been there. A year and a half maybe, and they've managed to put out a launch game in that space of time with the help of Guerrilla. If that's their remit, is to just be a support studio, to turn those experiences, maybe put them over, because Call of the Mountain's in Unreal, isn't it? So if they've got a template that they can just go, all right, well, we'll do the same with The Last of Us, same with Ghost of Tsushima, whatever it might be, then they can just be churning.
The Last of Us VR confirmed by Ben, guaranteed.
There you go.
Now. Sorry,
exactly. But no, and there's other studios as well. Like Media Molecule have just gone, all right, well, we're not going to be supporting Dreams anymore. In 2020, they were canvassing for people to talk about to give feedback on their VR experience, things like that. Paying people to come in and test the VR element of Dreams. So maybe they're pushing that angle as well to do something VR based. There's got to be an Astrobot in the works.
Has to be.
Yeah, SOB, they've got to be working on that.
Exactly.
Sure. And they've got the London studio that did what was it called?
Concrete Genie? Was it that one?
No,
what are they
the
doing?
One that Alex, come on, what was that London, the gangster game that was on PSVR1? Damn. Where's Kate? Where's Kate when you need her? Sorry, it'll come to me in a minute. But
when you talk London studio, I keep thinking like The Getaway or something, but Order 1886. But I can't think of the VR game.
The original Grand Theft Auto. There you go. Zombie U.
Zombie U. But I mean, did you say like Pixel Opus and Concrete Genie? Like, what are they doing? Because there was a VR element to Concrete Genie on the PSVR1. So
there's got to be, a good few games in the pipeline, and there's going to be third parties like the likes of Capcom that are basically every major game they're putting out has got a VR element.
What do you think? We'll get VR Street Fighter.
Oh, first person VR Street Fighter.
I can imagine it. That'd be so much fun.
Doing a spinning bird kick, I'll be throwing up all over my living room.
Hadouken.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it would be great to see that pipeline of games and that reassurance.
Blood and Truth was the game I was looking for, which was done by SIE London Studio. So I'm sure there must be a sequel to that they could do. And if they had a new Astrobot, a new Blood and Truth, they've got the Horizon, they've got The Last of Us VR confirmed that Ben's just leaked. We've got GT, which is Polyphony. They've just made a VR game, so their first party are supporting it. I'm sure.
God of War Axe Throne.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we've said it before, but like a God of War spin-off makes total sense. Given how Ragnarok ends.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I just think it is missing a killer app. That is a problem.
Yeah,
because there's no reason, like, we can't go to the rest of the cross players group and go, shit, you need to get this. There hasn't been that moment.
Yeah, because Horizon Call of the Mountain, that is predominantly a tech demo. It's to sit there in your canoe looking at the dinosaur tall necks walking over you and just being in awe and gawping at the scenery. As a game, it's not a fantastic game. It's a tech demo. It's a launch title tech demo, right? That's what launch titles are for. So yeah,
they just charged you £40 for the pleasure.
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Yeah, and it is very much that sort of arcadey. I'll dip in, play half an hour or something, let the kids have a go of something or other, and then put it away for another week. There is that element of it. So I think if there's going to be a game that makes you go, here is a 15-hour experience that you simply can't have anywhere else, and it is like one of the best games of this generation, that changes the conversation itself. Couple that with, as I said, a marketing push, a load more games, and making it available to everyone, and a big price drop. Suddenly we're having a very different conversation.
I think as well, if they put half a dozen or so games into the PS Plus extra tier, so that if people, the real hardcore fans that have got PS Plus extra, they're on that top tier, think, oh shit, now I've got half a dozen or even 10, 15 VR games. There can be just some of the launch titles, some of the smaller ones as well, but you just straight away you're creating that value for someone who can get to the headset. They don't have to spend £100 or whatever on software. They'll have half a dozen games that they can play, so that just seems like such an easy win for them. Why aren't there VR games on that PS Plus extra? Why not?
Yeah.
Well, I assume it's because the attach rate must be.
I wasn't looking for an answer for you.
No, I know, but I think I've got one. So stay tuned. I think the attach rate of these games must be quite high though, because there's not many full price games, and they do lend themselves to just dipping in and out of little experiences. So I don't think there's anyone sat there that's just like, well, I've got Horizon, that'll do me for 6 months.
No.
Do you know? I think everyone's going, okay, well, there's Synth Riders that's £15, and there's a bunch of other stuff that's like £10-20. Kayak VR, sure, I'll give that a go. So I think that's probably the reason that they wouldn't be putting them in yet, is because people are gobbling up what little content there is.
And Kayak VR as well. If you look at the bestsellers for the last couple of months, Kayak VR has been number 1 or number 2. It's been up there in the top few games that people are buying. It's really popular.
Baffling.
We did get a couple of questions on Twitter in relation to this, which we've kind of covered a wee bit, but I'll fire them at you guys anyways. The first one is, do you think it would be possible for Sony to implement the patches for more PSVR1 games, and why do we think Astrobot wasn't there on day one? I think we've probably talked about this a little bit before, but I feel like Astrobot not being there on day one might be a ploy for the new Astrobot, and it's like, pre-order the new Astrobot and we'll give you Astrobot 1 for free, something like that. Who knows? It'll come.
Who's asking that?
It's Chris on Twitter, sorry, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
I don't think they'll patch more games, but I think they will port them and they'll re-release them, and knowing Sony, they'll probably charge for the privilege of playing them.
Of course.
Yeah, I think we'll see a bunch more stuff. I mean, the stuff that's coming over, like the golf game that you just mentioned. There's things like Among Us VR, which I believe has been confirmed to be coming over as well.
Yeah,
Beat Saber.
Like, I think if they put Among Us on, suddenly that's like a whole different audience. Then you get like a bunch of kids going, can I have this, please? Which is, again, that's how you get to the masses. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I think if those games don't come, it's because there's better games that are arriving, and if they do come, the worst case scenario is that they kind of Sony think, oh fuck it, we're not going to make any new games, we just port over the old stuff. But hopefully it'll be like a sort of Switch situation with Nintendo, where they just have the new games, but then they fill in the gaps with ports of the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll have watched what Nintendo did with the Switch and think, well, that seems like a sensible idea. Let's just do that.
Yep.
Yeah. And also from Chris, he also said, with the low sales figures and potentially an inevitable price cut, do you think Sony will reward the early adopters with some sort of incentive like the 3DS? Do you think they'll be nice and give us something for jumping in there early? And we're like, yeah, that's...
Program.
No.
Yeah. It's Sony after all.
No, your
They'll probably charge us extra for the price drop.
Your reward is you get to be an early adopter and have high end.
They'll give you a little trophy and you get a little
Stars.
PlayStation Stars trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
I mean, do people feel like? I mean, if it's a massive price cut, I suppose it would hurt. But I mean, I don't see them cutting the price, to be honest.
I think they will
the
a
price
little
up
bit.
with the PS5. Well, if they can maybe bring it down so it's on a par with the PS5, but I don't think that's the problem. I think the its biggest issue is that pipeline of future software, and that because Sony have got a lot of form in releasing stuff and then just spinning it off far too quickly in a Google-esque fashion. So I think people want that commitment from Sony. That if I'm going to spend £600 on a headset and some games, I want to know that you're going to be committed to it as well. I think once Sony can demonstrate that, then people will buy in their droves.
Yeah. Hopefully in about a month's time we'll have a better idea, because they're saying mid to late May for the showcase, so fingers crossed.
Good. All right, well, that seems like a good summary of the situation there with PSVR2. I think we're pretty positive still on it. Not panicking yet. So all those journalists that are saying it's dead already, piss off. Ben, you've been playing...
Piss off.
Fuck these.
Just do one, all right? Ben, you've been playing Pistol Whip. Tell us about Pistol Whip, please.
Oh, with pleasure, with absolute pleasure. So yeah, Pistol Whip. Have you guys played this?
I
yet?
have picked
Alex,
it up.
you
I
bought
haven't
it.
played it yet. I keep meaning to, and I haven't played it
So
yet.
many games still queued up to play. I really will definitely buy this one though, but I need to clear the stuff I've already got first.
Well, I will cut right to the chase then. I listened to you when you recommended Synth Riders. This is flipping it. Yeah, this is basically, I think this is a must-have. And I'm surprised more people aren't talking about how good it is, because it is. It has been the killer app for me. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just to briefly explain the clues in the title, but you are basically just going through these levels. They're about 3 or 4 minutes in length. Guys pop up and you shoot them. You can dual wield, you can have a single pistol, and that's basically it. But you're doing it in time with the music, so you get a higher score if you shoot them on beat, if you reload on beat, if you avoid getting hit, and you can obviously shoot, or you can pistol whip them. So if you get close enough, you can whip them. And the advantage that has is, I think you might get more points for it, but you also, if you take a hit by pistol whipping an opponent, you get your health back. So it's basically you get 2 shots, and if you take 2 shots, you're dead. But you can get that first initial bit of armor back if you either kill a certain amount of enemies or pistol whip, basically. And that is it in a nutshell. But it's the style of it. It's the sensation of being in these very cool neon sort of cyberpunky levels with this synthy music, and it's just it's the game that I've been most impressed with in VR, because it just wouldn't work in a normal game. Like, it just wouldn't be the same. And I think it's just you just feel very cool when you're playing it.
I was going to say,
and then you watch a video back of yourself and realize, I know.
But
I know that feeling.
In terms of games that Sony should be including in a marketing campaign, then this looks like the sort of game that people think, I want to have a go at that. That looks fun. That looks really fun.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is you've got to. It is really hard to push VR. We mentioned it on the last episode. It doesn't show well. It doesn't preview well. You've got to. Mm-hmm. But if you can see someone playing it, it's so different. It just you get it then, because I'm like playing it, ducking out the way. Then the beat will come in, and I'm suddenly just letting my shoulders drop a little bit and shooting these guys, and it's a sweaty sort of game as well, Alex, you mentioned Creed earlier and Synth Riders. Fogging up the lenses playing that. This is another one of those where after 3 or 4 levels in a row, you're like, whew, I might take a little bit of a break here, because it is, you are generally moving around constantly, leaning from side to side, ducking down, avoiding bullets as they sort of whoosh past your head, Matrix style. And it's just kind of, the sort of content-wise, there's 2 campaigns that are like 5 stages each with a boss at the end. And that's like your single player content, basically. The rest of the stuff is sort of arcadey. So I would say, again, like score chasing, if you're into that sort of thing, that's brilliant. There's a party mode, so you can kind of pass the headset, So I was playing it with my kids earlier, who are of an appropriate age to play Pistol Whip. And they, what we did was just, somebody sets the high score, pass it to the other person, and you kind of putting your name in like a local, like you would at an arcade, basically. And that's brilliant, because you could just have fun just high score chasing, or obviously with online leaderboards as well. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like a must-have PSVR2 title. I can't really give it any higher praise than that. And Alex,
I need to go play it.
You really should. I think I was, after one level of it, I was like, right, this is the game for me. And it's it's got a lot in common with Synth Riders, but the sensation of just shooting someone and nailing a shot from a distance, like they first appear and you just see them and you just pick them off before they've even got a chance to shoot you back. It's a sensation and a half, honestly.
Very satisfying by the sounds of it.
Yeah. And you can hold your gun sideways, pretend to be a gangster. It's just love it.
Get that monogrammed hat.
The dual wielding, and you can like cross your arms and shoot 2 people at the same. Just honestly, it's just talking about it makes me want to play it now. But yeah, so just go and play it.
And it's £25 on the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
So
worth every penny. There's a lot of content there, loads of levels.
I was going to say, how long do you think
campaigns.
how many hours do you think it would take to get through the campaign?
Oh, not long. I think the two campaigns, they're probably about half an hour each.
Oh, wow,
I would say.
So very short.
Bit of a challenge. So I did die a few times on both of them, and there's like new mechanics introduced in each of the levels. So there's like a futuristic cyberpunk one, and then like a Wild West one, and they both, the stories are nothing basically, but they're interesting. But yeah, that's like the single player content. But then I think the bulk of it is the replayability in the levels, putting on different modifiers and leaderboards, trying to get trophies.
Has it got a platinum, Ben?
It has got a platinum. I'm not sure I'll ever get it
right away. And
but I think I've got just over 50% of the trophies so far.
So in terms of the grumpy old man score, it must score pretty low on that, or pretty high, whichever. You're moving around a lot.
I don't know how that works. Exactly. You're moving around. Yeah, you're moving around a lot.
Any on the vomit factor? Any motion sickness?
0.
Yeah, which,
no,
wow,
nothing whatsoever.
For you, that is a big deal. That is a
yeah.
big. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is strange, isn't it? But these games where you're kind of automatically moving just forward in a straight line, they just don't seem to bother me whatsoever. So yeah, there's nothing on that. But yeah, I think there's been a couple of occasions where I've hit that mesh barrier and it's kind of paused because I'm going out of it too much. And certainly my son earlier, he just can't help walk forward playing it because you're sort of watching him. He's gradually moving forward.
So watch the TV.
And I just go, all right, come on, step back. But yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about it.
I am going to go and play it after this.
Another stamp of approval.
Absolutely.
2 for 2 on our reviews this week. Nice. Great. Well, talking about smashing your TV, I saw something that made me laugh on Twitter. York replying to someone who'd been playing C Smash and had like whacked the ball and smashed their TV. York replied to them on Twitter like, "Yeah, sorry about that."
Wow.
So yeah,
like Wii Sports experience.
Yeah. I have nearly smashed my light in our living room just by when I was playing Cosmonius, and I just sort of whacked something up above my head. You sort of didn't realise how standing I'd moved into the middle of the room underneath it. So yeah, beware, people out there, beware.
Aware of your surroundings. I did that with Horizon as well, actually, climbing, and then I hit one of the beams in here. Oh, no.
Punch someone in the face accidentally.
Yeah.
I've only hit my child so far, so it's fine.
Good.
That doesn't matter.
Let's move on quickly before anyone notices what I just said. Thank you, everyone, for listening this week. And apologies once again, we missed last week. We shall endeavour to do better and not miss any more weeks. But yeah, if you fancy getting more involved with us, we would always love to hear from you. So please jump into our Discord. We are seeing people do just that, and it's great to see people. And if you've got any questions you want to ask us, we can talk about it on the show. Please do. And if you want to join any multiplayer games with us, if you are a firewall expert that would like to carry us in a few months' time, then please make yourself known.
Interviews soon.
And yeah, last but not least, thank you once again to all our patrons for supporting the work we do. We love you all. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Alex and Ben, and we will see you next time. Until then, it's goodbye.